Welcome back to the OPL. It is a beautiful Saturday. Sun's out and shining in both Melbourne as well as Sydney. Top 100 is on the radio. And some bloody good League of Legends action right now as Order pick up game one in what was a very fight-heavy affair.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty slow in terms of the advantages that were being accrued, and then it all just culminated in this Baron, and the game was suddenly over. Order just picked that one up, ran it down mid, ran it down bot, and dived for the win.
It was kind of 2014 League of Legends all over again, which
like,
I was okay with.
Yeah, just like push the side lanes in and like, let's fight.
Yeah, it was like, you know, get rid of all that fancy macro stuff like Fog of War. We saw FBI walking around with full wards at one point. Like, who cares about all that stuff? Get some good R's out there and, like, let's just keep going forward.
Spooks is just running through mid lane, like, in full vision of the minions. Like, hey, guys, like, I'm here. You want to go? Let's go.
Longest engage range in the game. However, I think that game really highlighted that one team seemed to be fighting and then taking objectives, while the other team was always reactionary, responding to a fight.
Yeah, and that's what I tried to touch on in terms of proactivity. It just seemed that Order just had so many engage tools in the Zac, in the alley, even the Nar flank, Galio. There were just so much available, and they just had at least one of them at any time, and they would just get something. They would get a fight. They would win the fight, and then they would actually get an objective where you see when the Bombers won that fight around Baron, right? They got a few picks with a 4-man Cataclysm, but then ultimately chased into the jungle, and then instead of initially like taking the Baron or possibly trying to keep Spooks out or anything like that, they just get a mid turret and then reset. They just don't take a whole lot. Whereas on the side of Order, you give them an inch and they just take a mile.
Yeah, exactly right. As we bring up the damage graph on your screen, we're talking about the Caitlyn a lot and the Corki, but wow, that is real damage.
Yeah, 100%. We were just singing the praises of Tiger, honestly. He was playing super well that game, but he's played well. He hasn't died. He's keeping himself alive. But in terms of looking across the board, FBI is just doing significantly more damage. And you said it, Jake, that he just hasn't been able to win them the fight. He's been in these positions where he's been so fed, the only fed member on the Bombers, but he just doesn't win them the game. He doesn't lose them the game. I don't think he's made a big mistake yet, Tiger, in all of the games he's played, but he's just not winning them the game either.
And I'll make an international analogy and bring it back. This kind of seems like 2014 Deft versus Imp, where arguably Deft is a more solid player.
Yeah.
He's got a very good, solid all-round game, but he just never goes for the game-winning play. Whereas Imp was that player that if you give him 4 items, he will dive into the team, and he's either picking up a carry himself, or like he takes us away. And we saw FBI get soloed out by Choose, get hit by multiple lines of skill shots, but ultimately probably won Order that game, whereas Tiger was just sitting on the back line kind of chipping away at the tanks.
Did like 8k more damage overall throughout the game there on the Ezreal. And mind you, Ezreal does have an easier time doing damage, but like FBI, I think, played incredibly well that game. Order pick up the win, and we're into game 2.
Yeah, exactly right. So we'll see whether Bombers can change anything. Order will take away Sejuani as one of their bans on the blue side. And what would you like to see Bombers change?
I think I just want to see them play through their bot side more. Seb got access to the mid lane and the top lane early game, and it just didn't amount to a whole lot, I think. Choo-Choo's giveth and taketh away, I think, in those fights. One time he just face checks the dragon and dies. The other time he's soloing out FBI around the Baron. So I just want to give more agency to Tiger and Rosie. I keep saying this. I feel like I'm harping on this one point, but
you are. That's why you feel like you're doing it. But I agree with you.
Tiger's playing really well.
Give him a valid
point.
That
he can do something with.
Give him the Cogmore or the Vayne.
Well, they just banned that one away, but well, he's not going to get the Cogmore. They do ban away the Galio because I think that did do a lot of work for Order in the early game there. Swiffer did get access to the side lanes despite losing in the matchup in the mid lane. Yeah,
and we're seeing more and more Galio internationally. The versatility of the champion. If you get a good matchup, you can go AP. If you get a really bad matchup like Malzahar,
you just go adaptive helm. Like,
run around and be a potato.
Yep. Just be a potato. They do ban away the Zoe on the side of Order. Swiffer did pick that one up, but they obviously still don't have faith in that one.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen Zoe internationally as an Azir counter, so potentially we may see an Azir first pick out of Order here. Kalista taken away from the Bombers.
And on either side of the matchup here, Order ban away the 2 S-tier junglers in the Sejuani and the Jarvan, and then Bombers ban away the S-tier 80 carries.
And with Kalista and Cogmore off the board, it will be an Ezreal pick one more time.
I mean, it makes sense. FBI's performance that game, absolutely stellar. Doing so much damage, topped out the damage chart, so they give that one again.
He's also probably pouring one out. He's like, this is the last time I get to play Ezreal in competitive League of Legends. FBI is a big Ezreal player. He's probably like, give me him. I want to play him for one last time.
And I'd be interested to see if Order pick the same kind of comp. Just a steamroll comp where they pick lots of CC, lots of engage, and just let FBI do his own thing again. But the Braum is taken away by the Bombers. Big pick that we didn't see last game. It was banned. Rosie on that one does potentially give a lot more gank assist in the bot lane, so Seb can get down there, do some damage on the Kha'Zix.
Certainly is going to be an aggressive jungler for Seb one more time. I liked his early work on the Jarvan, of course. Respect banned away by order. We will see the Emperor of Shurima locked in right now. I also like Braum at the moment. He's real, like... He can be just a brick wall, but he also can be incredibly aggressive.
Yeah, Q Flash on Braum is one of the best gank tools ever. Absolutely. Yep. You apply the passive, you apply the slow as well, and then everybody else can proc it. You still have the CC, you can lay down the ulti as well, so you can be a very defensive Braum, but you can also be a very aggressive Braum as well.
And talking about aggressive junglers, we're actually going to see the Rengar versus Kha'Zix matchup.
The hunt is on.
So if the game goes long enough, the hunt will be on.
I don't think it works in competitive. Unfortunately,
no, it does.
On Tourney Realm, does it?
Yeah, 100% works in competitive now.
Okay,
I didn't used to, but I'll get confirmation from someone on Twitter, I'm sure. We'll get absolutely roasted if I'm not right, but I think it does, as Vladimir gets locked in.
Fun fact, Swiffer was the worst Azir I've ever seen when he was learning that champion back in the day.
Swiffer, actually, fun fact for you about everything. Swiffer needs to play a champion 200 times before he understands.
Learner. He is a slow learner and new champion.
But
it takes
he also
him a ton of time.
also just clicks one game. So one game he'll go like 0-18, you'll be like, oh, this is bad. He'll lock it in the next game, you're like, what are you doing to yourself? This actually looks like torture. Then he'll just understand how to play it. Gangplank gets banned away, as well as Varus. So again, no priority given to Tiger. Just means that everything is being taken off the board. Sivir as well.
They do still have the flex available for that. Vlad can go mid and top. So not entirely certain. Potentially we will find out this pick. The Bombers have 15 seconds left to make their selection.
Welcome to O's, Tiger. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Really, your team's banned away 280 carries, they're not priority picked for you. And the other teams responded with 2 more bans. We'll get Tristana, who's still quite strong on the patch.
Yeah, Tristana Braum. Very good there. Attack speed bonus on her Q. Gives her the ability to proc that Braum passive very quickly.
Surprising amount of burst damage if you get the 4th hit as well as your explosive satchel at the same time. Hard to navigate in the laning phase.
See what support Order do opt in for this bot lane. Will be Tristana Braum facing off. Do they just go for the alley again? A lot of the engages were successful out of Rogue there, I think. Had the Hex Flash.
I agree, given the fact that we have no Zac this game, but instead we have a Rengar.
Rengar needs a dive buddy.
Yep.
He's one of those junglers. He does a lot of damage, but unless you're going the pure solo Q one-shot build, you need someone to be diving in with you. Otherwise, you just get immediately blown up by the Tristana, by the Braum passive that's going to come out immediately. Kha'Zix just tear you to pieces.
And I think even if you go the one-shot build in competitive, it stops at Duskblade.
Yeah.
You can't go things like Youmu's and stuff like that. It's just going to get a little bit silly. We see a lot... Rosie's favourite champion is Teemo, by the way, fun fact. We do see a lot of GA very early on Rengar, just because his playstyle is kind of jump in, get as much damage as you can, and not get back out.
Yeah.
And dying actually creates more time where they have to crowd around you. As silly as it sounds, it's almost like CC. They're just stuck in place.
Yeah, they have to deal with you because they know you're going to respawn, but you're just sitting there dead and everybody else can do whatever they want. Echo is locked in the top lane here. Does he go Spellbook Ignite? Look to bully around the Gnar.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. He's got very good matchups into Gnar. We used to see Tank Echo into Gnar a lot because you can follow his hop, which is one of Gnar's only tools of getting away. Bushy Boo Boo, obviously, solo queue player, first competitive game. And I like this. The team says, we have confidence in you. You pick what you're comfortable with and see if you can put in some work.
And it's the opposite of what we were saying. They're playing through the top side here. They got the Kha'Zix. They have these matchups. They held the flex for Choo-Choos.
And maybe this is kind of like what will come. They think that sleeping is actually the early game advantage they can get, and Tiger's their late game insurance policy. So instead of saying, hey, let's play 2 weeks one way and then completely break our play style, they're like, hey, let's just play the same way. Let's build up confidence in it. And then we get Sleeping back in the lineup. It's just a strict upgrade.
I actually like that a lot. Because Sleeping's just a hardcore carry player. Just barely ever see him on a tank. He does play utility like the Rumble, things like that, the Kennen, but Riven player, just hardcore carry. So, yeah, as you said, likening him to that one. Do they pick up the Tank Echo here, or does he go AP? I think it just goes AP. Yeah, 100%. So much more damage there. Tank Echo got nerfed a while ago.
Also, the fact that with Ezreal, if you're Tank Echo, he kind of just keeps hitting you. Yeah. Whereas if you're AP Echo and you follow the Arcane Shift, you just kill him, honestly.
Yeah, you need that potential to actually blow him up in an instant, because if you'll just follow him doing a little bit of damage, the Gauntlet Ezreal build is just going to kite you around.
So an interesting composition coming out of the Bombers for Game 2. A mid Vladimir, which we have not seen in a very long time. A top lane Echo, which has been even longer. We'll see whether they can make it work because it is do or die time. Yet to pick up a map. And they would want it very bad here against their Melbourne rivals in order.
5 stopwatches. They've opened the book, the inspiration book versus one. Spooks wants it. Nobody else does.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense for Rengar because Rengar isn't really a boots buyer for the first 10 minutes. He prefers to go the damage for the speed in farming. So he's going to have the stopwatch as well as the 10-minute boots. What happens if you have a full inventory?
You just get them when you go back to base, you buy an item. You can't hold 7 items. So if you have a potion and then you use the potion, it'll just give you the boots.
It just magically appears.
Yeah, they're the magical footwear.
That's true, actually.
They're magic boots.
All right.
That's what they do.
I feel like when I correct you, I'm a little bit nice about it. I feel like you're just like, you're an idiot. That's all right. Swiffer gets the soldier down very early. Going to be Comet out of the Azir, for those wondering at home and want to be able to play a similar style. No changing of summoner spell is going to be happening here.
Probably gone precision secondary here. Doesn't have the stopwatch, so you don't think inspiration. Goes for that extra attack speed.
Choo Choo's is honestly doing a very good job of bullying here. Will win the sustain war as well. Dorian's shield plus transfusion.
But Swiffer does get the wave in, so Choo Choo's has to farm under his turret. Oh, the wave's going to catch, actually. So he's chilling. Yeah. He's just chilling.
I mean, Swiffer should get an earlier level 2. Hasn't got minion dematerializer, which we've seen him pick up in the last game.
I mean, on the likes of Galio, it makes a lot of sense. Someone who needs to be able to wave clear and then go elsewhere on the map. But Azir can kind of just chill. He doesn't want to go to the side lanes. He wants the fights to come to him. And so it makes a lot of sense there.
And we can see Spooks actually going for a very aggressive invade.
Yeah, red to red.
Seb does the right thing here and actually pulls it into the brush, but it's going to reset, so he pulled it a little bit too far.
Did he see Spooks?
He must have seen Spooks.
No, he absolutely not. Spooks has a ward there, but he had no idea.
Seb, I feel like you just don't play that comfortable.
You've seen him now.
Sorry, that scared. If you have seen him, we'll be able to smite away the big one. Looks like Spooks got majority of the little ones.
But this has opened it up for Tally in the top lane. Playing that Gnar again, being able to push in, pushy boo boo.
Headbutt. Pole onto both members. That's good chunk damage. However, now Rosie looking to turn her around. Doesn't get all that many charges off, however. What I wanted to mention is Vladimir struggles with push early, which is why we see champions like Orianna, but generally they transition into Morel and Omicron. Azir is unique in the fact that for his CDR, he builds himself a Nash's Tooth, which is not going to stop Choo Choo's at all in this game. Spooks looking for Seb again, finds him in the jungle. That's going to be a flash out, and Spooks picks up first blood and gets the flash. Will pick up the 3 buff.
So persistent out of Spooks. He knows he wins this 1v1. Already forced Seb away.
And one thing we see in Korea a lot is the battle ward tactic. I hear Papa Smithy, shout out to the Australian caster over there as well, talk about this concept of battle ward. And what that means is if you've got 2 pushing lanes, your job is not to help the lanes. They're already winning. You just go find the jungler and make sure they can't kill your lane. And that is exactly what Spooks did. He just stayed in the jungle, stayed persistent, and then ultimately he tracked Seb and took him down.
Just removing the problem. Seb has no access to his lanes there. Eventually does face check. And Spooks picking up the first blood there. Seb bases immediately buys that Hunter's Potion there. So obviously on the back foot, not looking pretty for him. Choo Choo's neither for him as well.
And you can see what this means in the middle lane. Unfortunately for Choo Choo's, I feel like this has really hurt him because Swiffer is kind of just shoving no mana, reckless abandon, no regard for jungle pressure at all. And Choo's is just continually chunked out, although is doing very well in CS, I will say.
Seb is looking.
Oh, Swiffer actually dashed forward then. He's going to be in a bit of trouble here, although Seb, no flash.
Oh, he's brave.
Still gets the slowdown. Will get the Thunder proc as well.
Damn, that was brave. He had no idea where Spooks was there. Absolutely none. They have no vision in his jungle. Bot side is up, so he could have potentially been down there anyway, so...
Now Spooks. I think he's just going to look to shove out this way.
Helping out old pal Swiffer, shoving that one in there. All lanes shoving in for order here.
What do you feel about the fact when junglers come shoving a wave, they're expected to take no creeps? Would you do that, or would you take a cheeky couple as well?
I would absolutely take a creep. I'm not a jungler, but I mean, if you're wasting my time pushing in your lane, then I'm going to get something. It's also not that much about the creeps. It's about the XP.
Yeah.
Because if you share XP with your jungler and then Choo Choo's proc 6 first, you can look for an all-in while you're level 5. That's really the problem, but obviously Swiffer with the upper hand already in this matchup won't bother him too much.
I mean, you can see Spooks one more time. He's just putting a lot of investment into this mid lane.
He's
Actually
just
stops
the
the back and freezes the wave.
That's love. That's love right there.
Spellbook is available for Choose, however, so he can just teleport back if he wants to. Does go for that play. I'm kind of surprised just because now that Swiffer hasn't got heal, I feel like the all-in potential with Ignite is actually terrifying out of a Vladimir. You can get underneath the wall with, of course, that pull and the ultimate plus the Ignite. Do you feel like it's a kill, or do you feel like this is the right call?
Potentially. I mean, he doesn't have the backup of Seb right now, obviously on the back foot, so with that added pressure of Spooks being around, if they don't have the vision control to lock him down, as I say that, Bushy Boo Boo has shoved in the top side, got that deep vision on the top side jungle. But Chuchus could look for it. They've already showed that they will just face check the top river with Reckless Abandon, so they're pretty hefty in their decision making there, just deciding they'll do it anyway.
I mean, I feel like Echo can do that, especially if you're moving quick. Echoes really gets himself in a tough spot if you're indecisive. If you just run somewhere and get caught, you can just R back and you're actually a mile away.
The gap between you and your shadow,
I mean, look how big it is right now. No one can catch that. It's when you start doing stuff like this that it actually becomes a problem. Obviously not in lane, I mean in the river.
But he has opted in for the Spell Thief build there, actually. We have not touched on that one. Does have the spell book, but looking to get that extra gold against the likes of the Narf. Fairly even in farm here. Doesn't have access to the wave right now, but just going to be picking up with Qs. It's one thing that AP Echo does fare very well. Can access the wave without actually committing to the melee range.
Yeah, we actually used to see this all the time when Echoes went Proto Belt, where they would get their quick Revolver. They would kind of just trade until they got Revolver, and then they would come back to lane, and one Q would just take out the range creeps, and then they'll just Proto Belt the front line creeps and be like, all right, I'm going somewhere.
All right, I'm outie. See you later, boys. Spooks is going to invade onto Seb on the blue buff here. Seb did spot him with that ward, just getting a bit of vision. They're looking for this bot side, but it's very healthy.
Yeah, they should know that Seb is somewhere around here.
Spooks.
Just because he saw that the blue buff be pulled out, so you can see Seb, although level 6 versus level 5 is a bit of an R.
Smite it.
Does smite it away, as you mentioned. Doesn't have a second charge either, so that should be his cue to just get the heck out of the jungle.
And this is just Spooks leveraging his bot lane right now. FBI and Rogue shoving in this matchup. Rosie trying to help Tiger CS that under the turret there. Spellbook on the 80 carry for the Bombers again.
And they're staying persistent. They're going to bring Alistar in. They're going to bring Azir in. Choo-Choo's is there. However, this could be a blue buff going across. No, it goes to Seb. Choose, however, caught out. Gets flash hit by Pole. Gets ignited. And that will be him falling down to Rogue. Just a defense they shouldn't have gone for.
And just a huge, quick decision coming out of Rogue. The pull was available, but the flash just came so quickly. Choo-Choo's had no idea.
Now they have the swoop and scoop as well. However, lane not on turret, so they will just go back to the mid lane and the bottom lane.
What did you call that one?
Swoop and scoop.
Swoop and scoop.
Because he's a bird. He's a pigeon.
Just swooping around and then scoops them back into the Alistar. The pigeon and the cow. What a combo.
Tale as old as time.
And I do want to touch on that. That's something you can do with Hex Flash, because it's just a 15-second cooldown.
What?
You just sit in lane, sit in the bush, and just Hex Flash out of the bush. And if they misstep, then they die. But if
you mean actually for a purpose? I thought you just meant like while your 80 carry is harassing, if you feel a little bit bored.
You can also, with supports, one of the most fun things is denying cannon creeps, right? If you play the Brawl, you like just put the shield up when they're trying to CS it, and then they lose a cannon. But similar sort of thing. You just channel your Hex Flash over the cannon creep, and the 80 Gary doesn't want to step up whilst that one dies. Obviously not on the turret. Rogue's not going to do that, because that would be complete suicide.
And I feel like a lot of the compliments we were giving the Bombers in Game 1, the fact that they had pushing lanes, the fact that, you know, they were dealing very well with what Order's early game was doing, is kind of falling down short here, because right now Order just have 3 lanes that are shoving in. 3 members that are stronger than their counterparts right now, and it's going to be the Bombers that actually have to try and withstand some of this onslaught.
And where does it come from? They don't have a tank in the jungle, they don't have any CC there, so they can gank the bot lane with that gank assist set up from Braum, but ganking for the Echo, Nah has a dash. It's going to be pretty hard to land that stun.
Yeah, I feel like if they're not winning the 1-3-1, they don't win this game. That's what it kind of feels like, right? They've got 2 Spellbook mages. You feel like, you know, Azir excels in 1-4. This feels like if they don't open up the map as a whole. Like, in fact, I would actually expect them to trade lanes here. You know, fortification be gone. Get Tristana in top lane, push that down, and try and get all the turrets off the map. Because I feel in that game, Bombers actually win. Whereas if Azir still keeps his mid lane turret for this whole game, there is just no way they can push into
An extended laning phase definitely favors Order here, and that's what you're saying. I do expect them to try and look for that flip. That would be a really good call. Tristana, obviously, very quick tower pusher. Choo-Choo's taking a beating in the mid lane. Swiffer is down a little bit of CS, but it just doesn't seem to matter.
I mean, the question is do they have their primary shot caller? Is that still Rosie? Is it someone like Luch, who unfortunately right now is serving a 2-match suspension? This is the last match that he'll miss. Is it someone like Tiger or Sleeping that's come over and actually been a very good vocal senior member? And Choo Choo's is still equal in CS, but just losing out on this health trade.
Big dive coming.
And you can see right now, Flash Headbutt Pulverize is available one more time, and they go for it. Pull very early, which means that they still will be able to continue this. Will just be the reset, and Spooks burns an ultimate. Actually burnt 2 for just his, and they walk out. And in the top lane, Bushy Boo Boo. That's a solo kill.
And that's Hex Flash. Rogue didn't commit anything. He just Hex Flashed over the wall. And Swiffer,
he burned his real Flash, mate. Stop talking about it.
No, he Hex Flashed over the wall.
He 100% had real Flash at that point. He Flash Headbutt. Still got the pull there. Actually might fall down for this. Has to burn the ultimate. Rosie picks up Spooks in a 1v1 battle that he somehow won. And they're just being continually pushed off this turret.
Choo Choo's no ulti, so no real kill threat there. Rogue just sitting around, getting his Demolish Block on there. Swiffer looking for Rosie.
Yeah, certainly is. Gets the flash out of him. The Azir ultimate was on cooldown. Get us a replay, by the way, of Rogue looking for that turret.
I
want to know who's right.
I guarantee that he Hex Flashed. I bet you, like straight up, he
I'm not paying
Hex
to
Flash.
stay in your room in 2 weeks if it was a normal Flash.
Okay.
That's the deal.
Okay.
As Swiffer one more time, just trying to chip out the Azir. He is the Azir, trying to trip out the Vladimir.
But this bot lane is just
Seb actually going in. Sorry to interrupt, Rice, but he jumps on his head, and that will be Swiffer overconfident and getting punished.
Still at the flash, but does not use it. Taken down there, and that could be the avenue that they needed here. The turret in bot lane. The entire time I was about to mention, Tiger's just been getting shoved in by FBI. Being able to fling those Qs and just push him off the turret while everybody's dancing around mid lane. I mean, it's got so much damage down. And here we go. No. Looking at this right now, he's channeling Hex Flash.
Oh, I got trolled by the Summoner Spell.
The Summoner Spell did say Flash. Jake, for anyone at home, was sitting here tapping on the desk, pointing at the Flash. But there we go.
That was a legitimate Flash.
Thank you very much.
I want a remake.
Remake for the caster. Sorry, I don't think that exists. Hit him with a chrono break. Absolutely not.
No,
but there we go.
I'm still not paid.
There we go. The bot lane from Order have reset here. Gold lead sitting at about 3,000 right now. A little bit of a CS lead in the bottom lane and in the top lane for Order. 20 CS and 10
But where is it all going wrong? Because it seems like, I mean, they're just passively losing the game. Was it that first invade, do you think, that was kind of the tipping point for this laning phase?
I mean, potentially. You touched on the fact that who is shot calling for them right now, and Seb, it does lend itself to the jungle role, and he's just being bullied around of his jungle. His mid lane's getting shoved in, top lane's getting shoved in. Spooks solo kills him in the jungle, and then he just has no avenue to affect these lanes. They're losing matchups already. Choo Choo's might be in a spot of bother.
Yeah, could be. There. At the same time, there is a lot of members, and you can see
flanking.
Teleport coming in as well. That's going to be the Hemo Plague use. And Tally takes the top lane turret. Looks like they want to force this fight, so they jump onto a road, has the ultimate ticking, flashes forward onto Choose, and will chain the CC. That will be a kill going across. Emperor of Shurima puts out that wall, will be able to dash over it. Bushy Boo Boo grabs himself a kill. Swiffer dashes out, 1-for-1 trade, but Tally didn't use teleport. Didn't have it, and just took the top lane turret.
And Rogue does actually get the trade 1-for-1 there. Choo Choo's
looked like he was dead to right.
He was 100% dead. Choo Choo's didn't need to commit to that one, but then burns the real Flash. There you go, Jake. Actually used that one to get himself down. Right. That's round 2 of him unexpectedly being able to get on top of Choo Choo's Bushy.
Good ultimate available. Actually looks like he wants to go back in. Nah, flashes forward. Misses kind of the prediction on where Seb's Flash will be. However, gets both flashes out of Seb as well as Bushy Boo Boo. That will be a mid lane turret falling down.
But once again, this is the same situation as game 1. The team fight ends up even 1-for-1 there, but Order just seemed to pick up an objective. They get the mid lane turret that they prepared earlier. They'd spent so much time bullying around Choo Choo's. He's even in CS, but he's 0-2. Rogue has just been sitting around that mid lane as Swiffer. He's chilling. He's just going to fly away, but they just spent so much time around this mid lane, and then they win that fight, or not even win, they go even. And
that stop recall could be very important, however, because now finally they have priority in 2 lanes. You can see that FBI and Rogue, very late to this bottom lane. FBI actually hasn't had a shop, so he's like half health, probably sitting on a lot of gold.
They're looking for
and with that priority, they're actually looking for the bottom lane dive. Disciplined play this time, however. Critical of them in game 1, they back away.
They don't overcommit there. They're not looking to hold it. Spooks is coming, so if they think it's a 3v3 still, Rogue does go in. Choo Choo's is still posturing from the mid lane though, but the satchel will blow up. The Tiger doesn't have a whole lot more damage to throw at the turret there.
And I think as long as they're looking to hold, this is okay. If they engage here, Still think it's a little bit greedy. You can see in the top lane, Tally about to go Mega, has the red buff as well. However, Bushy Boo Boo doing a very good job. There was an army.
That was an arc. That was a real good arc out of the minions there. Great play.
As ultimate burn out of Bushy Boo Boo.
Juju's is attacking the bot lane though.
Certainly is, gets headbutted away. Spooks uses a stopwatch. Will eventually just fall down. No, actually, flashes away. Will he survive this? You can see Seb dives in. Doesn't actually get the kill. A lot burnt there. And now Azir, this is just the never-ending team fight. You can talk for a bit.
Yeah, they've just been constantly looking for this bot lane turret. Spooks is so low, but he just wants the vision for Swiffer.
Swiffer couldn't put it through the wall.
Not able to get it there.
You feel if that goes through the wall, he's going to look for the slide, going to look. Oh, it stops the back. That wasn't one of the low health members. Who cares? I was going to look to, flash behind them, get a big ultimate. However, even team fight again, want to pick up a dragon.
And this, the thing in my eyes, the Bomber's composition right now, the Echo pick, he just hasn't done anything. He picked it into the Gnar, and it's just slowly losing this matchup. Mind you, Seb did get soloed in the jungle early, so potentially was banking on that.
Chuchu's in a bit of trouble here. He's actually got multiple members coming in, gets stunned up, falls down without using anything. Great play from Tally. Actually gets one over his old teammate.
Yep, CC stacked perfectly coming out of there. Didn't pull the ulti, so gets stunned up as well by the W, but Tally just seems to be so much more useful in these fights. He gets down here. That's a second pick out of him.
He's also up 50 CS.
Yeah, straight up 40, 45-ish, yeah, 50 CS in that matchup 1v1.
Took the
Taking the turret when Bushy Boo Boo actually committed to the TP in that bot side fight. So he's just done so much work here, and his Echo counter pick just seems to have amounted to nothing.
And so what is the redeeming quality right now? Is it scaling? Tristana, hyper-scaling late game? I mean, arguable, but they have no tank. Can they really fight front to back if they have no tank?
The later this game goes, it will be harder, but you do have the assassination potential out of the Echo. If he does get some items, he is down.
Potentially looking for spooks here. Stun goes across. Rogue is there, as you mentioned, and that's going to be a Hex Drinker. Seb also does get stunned up. Instead, they're looking to back away out of this one. Rogue has ultimate, but no flash available. Does use it, doesn't break the CC, but is just going to walk this one out as fast as he can. You can see Stun Zone is down. That's good. That's going to be able to pick up one. Rogue goes down. Bushy Boo Boo uses the ultimate to get away. Tally will complete that teleport, and you can see now the chase is in. Gauntlet procs coming out. Seb will fall down. You can see the house just misses there. Flashing forward, though. Tags him, eating forward. FBI going berserk, but that looks like the disengage will happen.
And the entire time that fight was going on, here we go. Tiger does pick up the kill on Swiffer, but Tiger and Chuchu's in the mid lane look to 2v1 Swiffer, and he comes up with a 2-for-1 anyway. He goes down. Chuchu's down earlier. That team fight top lane took so long to take down the Alistar. They were just proccing the Braum passive, trying to take him down, but that whole time, FBI sitting untouched, just flinging Mystic shots time after time, doing so much damage, and then they just can't run away. Yeah,
and I mean, it's a 6,000 gold lead right now for all extents and purposes at 20 minutes into the game. When you have the wave clear of Azir, when you have the late game security of having a split pusher like Gnar, which is vastly accelerated, 3 kills up, as well as, FPI's Ezreal, which we saw last game pop off. I mean, I feel like Bombers need to force right now.
And here we see this play in the mid side again. Chuchu's already half HP when he calls Tiger over. Blue Trinket coming out of the bush, but
he just dashes through 2 soldiers.
He just kills him. He straight up kills it. Oh no, and he gets blocked by the wall with a flash over the wall there. Swiffer looks for it anyway. Oh, that's so close. He gets the kill in the end here as he running up to the team fight. He has to pop the stopwatch to live, and the rest of them are there. FBI after taking down.
That was a bit greedy from Swiffer. Probably could have just used the Q for poke and let the team pick it up. Instead, he eat in.
Yeah, he wants the kill. He wanted the 2v1. He wanted the highlight reel play there.
He was feeling
Classic
it, you
mid lane.
Does that happen? As a pro player, do you do you make one sick play and you're like, I'm hyped, nothing can go wrong?
Just because of my experience with Spooks and Swiffer here, I guarantee you, Sammy D hit him with a sigh at the end of that one. He's just like, Simon, you didn't need to do that. Why did you die? There was no reason, because his teammates would have picked it up. FBI would have just flung a Q, taken him out there. But
one day I hope we have such synergy as those 2 players. Although, give us 5 years. How long have they been together as a couple?
Chuchu's again.
On the side, will actually burn the Azir. Ultimate Rogue goes forward, gets 3 members, and that is Chuchu's knocked back into the whole team. Spook's going to continue leaping out of the brush, and you can see he just cannot chase. And actually, it's going to be a flank coming out of multiple members. Bushy Boo Boo does get FBI, and you can see Swiffer is still just a brick wall, and they will pick up another kill. Rogue falls down. Rosie gets up the door, and you can see on the back end, Spooks is going to be able to clean up another kill. Actually, FBI grabs that as well, and it is a 4-for-1 trade.
And nobody has flashes on the side of Bombers there because of the earlier fight. Cannot get away. Rift Herald is popped. Can they get an in-hit with this as well?
Yeah, potentially could be the case. I mean, we haven't seen Rift Herald dance in the OPL, I think, yet. Maybe a stretch this one.
Yeah.
Have you seen that in a game?
When he takes down the Nexus and he's sitting there dancing at the end. I'd like to. Let's see if Order can do it, but...
Nah, they back away.
Yeah.
Dancing Rift Herald is actually one of the best things.
What's the dance? What's it look like?
I'm not doing it.
Okay.
I know the camera is still alive.
You'd also have to describe it as well.
Nah, not doing it.
Okay. I've done accents, mate. Come on, you can do a dance. But Spooks, 2 from 2 Rift Heralds, looking pretty good, but we're looking for the Engager Rogue right now. Choo-Choo's gets underneath the wall here, but this Flash Pulverize coming out right there. Huge. Locking down everyone. Choo's obviously already used the pull, and that just means the numbers disadvantage. They're fighting into this choke with Azir and Ezreal. Seb just can't get access because Spooks is running him away. They look for the commit. Seb looking for a kill on Tally, but ultimately not going to get a whole lot of anything. Very close, actually. That was incredibly close. Yeah. That was another situation. That was a sweeper, like, almost died for the 1v1 there, and Tally almost did the same thing, and then they dropped the Rift Herald, get themselves 2 turrets.
Yeah, exactly right. And we're seeing a little bit of an aggressive build coming out of Tally right now, hence why he was so squishy. He's picked himself up a more of Mount Mortius. Yep. Of course, he's going to be matching either Bushy Boo Boo or Choo Choo's in the sideline.
Does
so
a lot more against an Echo and a Vlad than a Kha'Zix there with the isolation damage. But there are some pings onto the Baron for Bombers. They don't have a lot of vision. And
Choo Choo's is going to face check. You can see damage goes over the wall. Already burns the pool.
That's the WQ already doing almost half HP from Choo Choo's.
Yeah, you can see that Spooks just runs around in that ultimate for a little bit. Big damage coming out of FBI because that wall was down. And such good control over this Baron area.
And can Bombers actually get access to the Baron? There is no wards in there. The blue trinket does come out, but the pings are stopping it right now. They're looking for this engage here on the...
Flash engage over the wall. Bushy Boo Boo will get the ultimate off. However, damage may be done as both solo laners get chunked out. And I mean, I feel that should just be a Baron call.
Do Order just walk at the Baron? Dragon has spawned. Tally, they put the turret up in the mid lane there. Tally walking over. Seb looking to try and get around, get some vision potentially.
I mean,
but
teleports are available because it's Spellbook on Echo as well as Vladimir. So no tank yet there. No armor on Tally means this is a very risky Baron, and they have pulled the trigger.
We need to watch Rogue on the top side there, looking to stave off Seb. Can he get access to the pit? 2K. Order are holding it again. They do lock down Seb here. Can they kill him down?
He got it! He got it! Absolutely huge steal, and you can see now on the back end they're winning the team fight as well. Blunder from Order. They may be able to still salvage this one. Massive damage coming out of Bushy Boo Boo. And you can see the Bombers, they will take the Baron, they will take the 2 kills, and they will just waltz out.
And looking for that pick onto Seb is their downfall. They're the 2 members coming out of Bombers in the Echo and the Vlad. As you said, had the Spellbook, had the TPs, made their way back into the fight. And because Order held that Baron for so long, waiting for Seb. On the books, it's a good play. You don't want to take that 50-50, but in the end, too much damage done onto the Baron. Seb actually gets access over the wall here.
So let's take a look at it, because in that, they should be able to burst it down. And Spook's Smite.
Spikes it incredibly low and
157 health, 167 health.
Unfortunately, Seb just picks that one up, and then they just chase down the team fight there. Swift is already dead. Spooks, FBI, absolutely no health. Ali was over the wall.
Spooks looking for a face check here as well. Waves definitely in favor of Bombers right now. Still a 4,500 gold lead for Order. However, this 1-3-1 comp now has Baron.
And that's absolutely the big thing here. That could be the stabilization Baron coming out of the Bombers. Can they set up this 1-3-1? There's a lot of standing gold on the map. They haven't taken a lot of turrets, so this 4K gold lead could amount to a whole lot of nothing in 3 minutes when that Baron wears off, if they can use it properly. But it relies on them setting this 1-3-1 up perfectly and not getting picked. Not a lot of flashes on the side of Bombers here, just for Tiger, so...
I mean, that's the only one they really need. Right now, there is no armor. There is a couple of pair of tabbies. And that's about it. Yep. Tiger, about to go back and complete his 3rd item, you would have to think. On Tristana.
Has that safety with the Brawl.
Can carry this game.
And not to mention, comparatively to last game, Order have significantly less engaged tools. They don't have a Zac. They don't have a Galio. All they've got is a Rengar going in with an Ali following up here. Ali's flash did just come online as, well,
all right,
he got picked. That's not what we wanted.
I mean, this is the thing about playing 1-3-1 in an area that we've seen O's struggle for years, is that if all 3 of your waves aren't going at the same time, the 1-3-1 doesn't work because they've got no response here. You can see Azir will arguably hold this turret, and Spooks is actually flying in from the side. looking for a fight. And the Baron up team doesn't win anything.
And Choo Choo's is looking desperate there on the side, looking to dive mid because they lost Bushy Boo Boo. I'm sure we'll get a replay of that engage in the bot side there, but because they lost him, they were like, okay, we need to get something out of this, looking for that dive in the mid lane there, but they can't pull the trigger. They're too safe, out of order. Diving in Azir, diving in Ezreal, very difficult task. And we just want to talk about Rengar. His side lane control is insane. As a split pusher, he can just stealth in from mid lane and literally close the gap.
Well,
and he has vision
right?
of you the whole time.
When you're a 1-4 versus a 1-3-1, the jungler's job actually, take us through the replay.
Well, I mean, we just see it again, right? He's pushing up, trying to get access to the wave, and Spooks, even though there's a pink there, it's just way too late.
Yeah, actually, FBI gets caught out here, will go for the True Shot Barrage, has to flash away, so a key summoner spell burnt there.
And every engage out of the Bombers is just fizzling. They just can't set this up here. They will get the turret, but at this point of the game, it doesn't mean a whole lot. Spooks is looking for
they're actually going for it. You can see Seb gets headbutt pole engaged on. Rogue still marching forward. They do manage to take down Seb, but now Rogue has to get out. Spooks actually ultimate expires on the back end, is now in massive trouble. Gnar ultimate comes across. Tiger flashes the stun, however, pushes Tally back. However, Rosie does give Spooks a way out. You can see so much damage still coming out of Tally, but at the same time, Tiger gets the shutdown.
Fairly even fight, 2 for 2 in the mid lane here, but Swiffer is looking for the flank. They do know TP coming out of the Echo, but Swiffer just waltzes away. They see that one, pick up the cooldown there, and another great engage out of Rogue, honestly. He's landed multiple 3, 4-man knockups to start off these fights. Spooks is on the flank, and he sets it up perfectly.
This is one of those games that the score is just not doing credit to what he's doing for the team.
Absolutely.
Because it is a telegraphed engage. Alistair walks at you and then headbutt poles you. You know it's coming, so to make it work in competitive play is certainly impressive. Bushy Boo Boo looking to stop Swiffer's back here on the turret. Will actually get knocked back, takes a truckload of damage and goes down.
Just doesn't get it. Just doesn't get it there. Can't quite pick up the kill. Swiffer, 2v1. That's unfair. That was a 2v1. He had the turret available, but so fed right now. Does so much damage. Just picked himself up a void staff.
Technically, Echo had access to his passive as well, so I'm just going to call it a 1v1.
But that's Echo traveling back into... It's still Echo. It's not Azir plus turret. Plus Echo. I don't know.
I mean, it's Azir's turret. He had the choice.
It is.
That was his proactive play.
It was, absolutely. But on that mid-fight, we did see Tiger. He does significant damage now, sitting on 3, almost massive. 4 items. So.
And due to the lack of armor, he's got himself another BF.
Yeah. Double AP coming out of the Bombers here actually opens up the 80 carry, because obviously Order want to itemize for those 2 carries and allowing him. He's sitting pretty right now, 5, 1, and 1. As we said, almost 4 items. So as this game goes on, he's going to do much more damage than anyone else on the rest of his team here. And if Rosie can keep him alive,
and arguably
that's
has
their win condition.
Similar survivability to Ezreal. Doesn't have the kite ability that Ez has because of the Iceborne Gauntlet. However, at the same time, his jump goes significantly further. There's nothing really to interrupt it this game, apart from like, oh, Rogue, come on, just walk. There's nothing to really interrupt it.
Value!
As opposed to last game where you had, you know, knock-ups and all kinds of different things. Honestly, the kitchen sink was covered in last game. I'm just laughing at you justifying that head slash. I can't concentrate.
It's almost up. Look at the cooldown. He's got like 3 seconds and it's available before they even get to the turret. That is a value summoner.
I just don't know if it was quicker.
Well, I mean, I think it was. But he's
got Mobies.
I mean, potentially.
We're timing it.
Sorry?
We're timing it after this game.
Okay, all right, let's figure it out. Figure it out off camera. But the big thing for Order right now is that the Baron's spawning in 50 seconds. And Bombers are really going to struggle to hold their base against this composition with the Azir poke, with the Ezreal poke, and with their lack of engage tools against a Baroned up team of the Order. So we'll see if they do opt in for a 5v5 full around that Baron, if they do opt into a contest, or they just try and use the time when Order set up for that objective to net themselves access to the side lanes, get their 1-3-1 up and running.
Yeah, honestly, that's what I want to see. At a certain point, even if you lose the game, you need to execute on your composition. And I feel like right now that Bombers actually have, you know, 2 carries that are about to be level 16, that in a 1-3-1, Azir might not be able to match one of them if the game progresses a little bit longer. Obviously, right now, we've seen that he can. But, you know, something like a Banshee's Veil coming out of the Echo could certainly make that a more even fight.
Choo Choo's does have the Ghost with his spellbook there, but the TP is on Bushy Boo Boo, so he's answering that bot lane. It's a 4v5 on the top side of the map right now, with Tally just waltzing up here. Doesn't choose to opt into the bot side. The turret is a fair ways away from the Echo, so they do have time.
Arguably pressure now on Order to make a play. You can see they're streaming forward, looking for a pick right now. Bushy Boo Boo does recall. And they have no priority over this Baron, but that didn't really stop him last time.
Recall? I feel like he's their only pressure point on the map right now, and he doesn't push this wave in. It hasn't even crashed to the turret, so Order now see him on the map. Tally started his recall there, but then sees the Echo isn't on the wave, so he has no need to. He's like, look, I'll cop a few CS. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm already 50 up. I'll just be at the fight initially. We have this gold lead, roughly 6k right now. They've already started up the Baron. It's gone.
Yeah, this is the second time that Order have gone back to a Baron and are just really quick at doing it. I think the speed at which it has fallen has just caught the Bombers off guard a little bit. Looking for the Rogue with a potential stun, but it fizzles. And now that bottom wave that you were talking about, Kelly just says, I didn't get punished for it, and I'll collect the whole thing, thank you.
He's just going to pick it up there and free access to that one, so he's just going to push it all the way in. See how Order do set this one up with the Baron. Do they just 5-stack and look to dive the turret with the alley, with the Rengar, or do they look to push in all the side waves here? Bombers looking for a bit of a Fnatic push right now. Red buff is available. FBI, will he face check it?
I mean, I feel like you shouldn't. As soon as you see this dragon go down, you should know that they're somewhere bottom side. They hit it!
No!
Oh, Rogue goes in. That's the wrong person to engage onto as well. Level 12 is quite tanky. They use so much on him. And you can see already that they're able to collapse. They get the Mega Gnar, 2-man stun. Braum can't put up the door. And that will be the turnaround team fight. Seb goes into GA. You can see Bushy Boo Boo gets a stun onto a couple of members. However, this is a wash of a team fight. 4 members dead, and only Rogue loses his life.
And it's an absolute disaster for the Bombers, but can you blame them here? They're grasping at straws, Baron upside of Order, almost a 10k gold lead.
They're going to catch Choose as well. He does end up popping the Ghost. You can see Teleport coming in actually from Tally to just continue this map pressure.
And the impatience out of Tiger on that play. He autos the red buff. He's like, hey guys, I know they're going to face check this one, but I want it for myself right now. Ali face checks around the corner, but just too tanky there. The engage is not what they wanted. Can't find FBI, so...
And this is potentially the best 1-6 Alice we've seen. Rogue has been definitely informed. They actually go forward onto Choose. He has to try and clear the wave. Credit to him, will fall down. And I just don't think there's anything they can do. Order right now with Baroned up creeps are too strong. Tiger and Rosie will be back up and available. Seb and Bushy Boo Boo will join them, so potentially double inhibitor withdrawal will come out of Order.
Do they withdraw though? They still have the Baron that can push into creeps, but they do. Just want to link back up with Rogue. Choo-Choo's is down, obviously, but Tiger is the main threat on this roster right now. Look at that shield. That is enormous. Not to mention the extra stacks you get from Braum stand behind you from that W, and then you have the shield coming out, so you get almost just too much value out of that mastery over here with the Relic Shield Targons.
Yeah, I mean, it is the reason that games are going for an incredibly long time right now. I mean, the average game time, I think, is the longest it's been for seasons. We've seen like 90-minute games already.
94, yep.
Yep. So we'll see where the Tiger... I mean, we've seen... I hate to say it, but we've actually seen games in more dire straits be picked up by hyper-scaling comps. And I feel right now that, I mean, Swiffer's nearly maxed out. Rogue... sorry, FBI, pretty much maxed out. Tally in the top lane, nearly maxed out. This game goes for another Baron buff. I mean, there is potential there.
There's potential. 100%. And even look at the lead coming out of Tiger right now. He's almost 80 CS, 70 CS up right now. He doesn't even need to opt in for the Last Whisper because there's a total of 2 armor items, ignoring tabbies, on the side of Order. There's a Randuin's and there's a Knight's Vow.
You see right now the value of Spooks' ultimate will be able to force the ulti out of Braum. They go forward, they look to pick him up. However, they're not able to do it for so long. Now Vladimir into the back line, looking for something, although will just, potentially not fall down actually. Gets hit by ulti, will fall down. You can see now with no turrets left available, they're just going to look to march forward. Rosie on the edge will dodge out of that. What is that, a flying saucer or something? But Order to still break the base.
Yeah, the pressure out of Tally on the flank of that fight was too great there. Choo-Choo's, he wants to get into the backline. That's how Vlad works. He needs to dive to be able to do that damage, and he had Seb with him, but because Tally is pressuring the flank, almost had the Mega Gnar, Tiger didn't want to commit, didn't want to dash forward. Here's another engage.
Yeah, exactly right. Bushy Boo Boo goes in. They swap sides, and they will now look for a big ultimate out of Bushy Boo Boo, actually. Gets some good damage down. Tiger flashes forward, picks up Swiffer, and now it looks like Bombers actually may win this team fight. You can see Tally goes so low, will fall down. Braum on the back end will be traded, however, and Ezreal with 2 procs of Braum's passive does just need to get the heck out of dodge. Tiger looking for resets, but will not be able to find them.
3 inhibs down in Bomber's base, so Tiger doesn't chase that one out, but that's the hold you were talking about. If they can stall this one out, Tiger is doing so much damage. Bushy Boo Boo has just been bullied around the map this entire game, but lands that single stun. Gets Swiffer so low for his 80 carry to clean up the kill, and that's a 1-team fight. Yeah,
it certainly is. You could see one more time, Tally's ultimate, no impact on the back end of that team fight, not able to go mega. And the crucial thing is the Tristana comp holds. He'll be looking for that final ultimate, but the start of this team fight looked like it was going Order's way.
And we do see this again. The Bombers lineup, they do want to try a dive here, and I do want to note Tally, the top left, as I was talking about. Choo Choo's goes in, but Seb ultimately jumps away. Tiger not doing a whole lot of damage on this fight, so Choo Choo's goes down. Not much they can really do to hold this in hit, so they just reset. Rosie, very low, almost gets picked up, but we speed it up here. This is where the fight comes out. We're looking at Bushy's stun here, getting onto Swiffer. FBI's taking a little bit of damage here. Rosie lands the stun, but it's coming out in just a few moments. Seb looking for the assassinate, gets knocked in there. The stun doesn't actually land onto a whole lot of anyone there, but they do just get them out of position. Swiffer walks too far forward into that ulti. So much damage. If this was a tank Echo, not the case, but the AP comes out. Huge damage there. Tiger picks up the kill and they clean up the fight.
Yeah, exactly right. And the Time Winder there actually put 2 procs of Echo's passive onto Swiffer. So that, along with the execute damage from W coming out. And you can see Rogue actually hash flashing forward. Gets a pull out of a full HP Choo Choo's. I mean, would have died if he didn't pull, so well done.
Can they hold again? That is the question here. 9,000 gold lead. They have a single turret. Baron's up in a minute though. So you can see Order playing this one super slow. If they don't have the engaged tools, there's no flash coming out of Rogue, just the Hex Flash. So if they can't get onto Tiger, you'd think that they don't want to dive the Nexus here.
See that they get a big ultimate across. Seb gets chunked out, and right now it's just really about playing those turrets. You can see Swiffer gets engaged upon, pushes them back. Choo Choo's good Hema Plague onto 2 people, and Tiger goes forward, however, does get stunned up by Tally, and now it's a team fight of 2 halves. Choo Choo's peeling back, looking to try and save his AD carry. You can see Echo gets stunned up there, and Tally is just too tanky. He's too far ahead, and Tiger just cannot shred the tanks. The Nexus turret will fall down, and Order one more time looking to pad their stats, get onto the Nexus, they pick up the kill, and they pick up the 2-0.
And they just couldn't do it again. They could not find an avenue into that team fight. Tiger couldn't do enough damage, jumps into the backline, but they just can't get onto Swiffer there. Knocks him back into the Nara ulti. Emperor's Divide slapped into the wall. Tally just running interference there, and they can't win a team fight. And if that team fight even lasted a long time, if they could hold for a while, the Super Creeps were just whacking away at the Nexus. They would have picked up the win for Order anyway.
100%. You could just see that front line. We spoke about it. Having 2 majors, always a risky comp, because if you don't snowball, they can't get into their 1-3-1. Tally was tanking 3 members on the back end of that team fight, and just was a brick. Was not going anywhere in Mega Gnar form, and I mean, promising signs for Bombers. Certainly a better performance this week than I would say last.
Yeah, 100%.
But still just not that X factor to tip them over.
But as you mentioned earlier in the show here, they do have their 2 returning members in Sleeping and Luch coming in next week. So they've shown this improvement week to week already with the 2 subs. You have to assume they're just only going to get better from this point.
Yeah, and I mean, that game, I feel, was dictated so much by an early invade from Spoons. I think that if that goes differently, if top lane and mid lane cannot just shove with reckless abandon, honestly, would be a different early game.
And I mean, Spooks just had such an impact. You mentioned that early invade, but also when the Bombers do set up their 1-3-1, he gets that pick into the side lane and buys them time, buys them pressure, as we see the team shaking hands right now. Looking in high spirits here, Choo Choo's bit of a smile on his face.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good game for Choose. Honestly,
There's a hug.
Game number 1, that's Tally and Choose, obviously, old teammates on Legacy. Game 1 for Choose especially, I mean, that was pretty impressive. I mean, did pick up one team fight, arguably next team fight a little bit sloppier. However, I would say that still looks like he's got it.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. And I mean, even talking about the subs coming through from Bombers, Artifern's very rough week 1, and then Bushy Boo Boo coming here, not even a top laner main. Is a support main, plays a bit of Lee Sin in the jungle. But
didn't see it.
Didn't see. Unfortunately, they didn't put Seb top and Bushy in the jungle. I don't know.
I don't know where to go
strategy.
with that.
So that's not going to work there. But yeah, it does fare a lot better against Tally in this matchup than week 1.
Yeah, it certainly did. I mean, Tally still got a big CS lead. Was able to naturally, I don't like you saying organically pick up turrets, so naturally picks up the turret.
What's wrong with organically?
I don't know. It's just overused, I think.
Okay, it's a bit of a buzzword.
Yeah, a bit of a buzzword. I try and avoid them. But I feel like in that lane matchup, just because of the isolation, Tally was able to win. Last time, I want to check in on it. FBI Rogue versus Rosie and Tiger. What did you make of Tiger? Did you think he did enough in these games?
Honestly, no. He's playing very well, but I don't think he does enough to be on this superstar roster. He being the superstar of this roster right now. He's played very well, made very little mistakes. I think we did see the big mistake coming out of him today, the first big mistake we've seen of him ever in the OPL, where he just did hit the red buff. They were looking for that play in the jungle and then just completely ruined everything. He's played very well individually, but he's got into these positions where he should be able to carry games, but he just can't can't convert that into the leads, into the victories they need.
All right, we'll see next week whether they're able to do it when they do have their full lineup back. Of course, Sleeping and Luch looking to join the Bombers. They're 2 stars. However, Order picked that one up 2-0. And standing alongside with Laura, actually sitting alongside in Carbon, is going to be a member of the Order squad.
Thanks, Jake. Yes, we are joined by Tally, and now the 2 ex-Legacy teammates are reunited. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
How does it feel starting off the split with 2 2-0 wins?
It feels really good because we've been having a lot of issues that we're dealing with back at home, and having like this confidence boost for us is very nice.
What's going on, Jim?
Oh, just
share it with the stream.
Just a couple internet issues, and like we're going in and out of our setups and changing.
Come on, Jake, what are you doing?
I blame Telstra for this one.
Oh yeah.
Australian internet, right?
Yeah.
Do you have internet issues with us?
Oh, no comment.
How did you find it going up against Choo Choo's, your old teammate as well?
It was kind of a weird feeling because I was playing alongside him for almost 3 years, and then I was finally playing against him, and I was like, I know all your weaknesses, and I'm going to exploit them this game.
Come on, bro.
So it was all right.
It was all right.
Can't do them like that. You can't do them raw like that on stream. That's not nice.
Well, Order were one of the teams that didn't go to a Korean boot camp this year, but you're putting up the results. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, all the teams who did go to Korea, when they came back, they were definitely like the real deal. Like we realized that it was paying off, like this Korean boot camp. But I don't think it's such a big difference. I feel like the teams are like up here, and we're like going to pass them eventually, and it's just a matter of time for us.
How do you reckon Bushy Boo Boo Echo would have gone in Korea?
I mean, it's not something that you can really punish.
Give him a number. Plat what? Plat what?
Plat. Whoa. You know what? Okay, Bushy Boo Boo Echo. I reckon he'd be a diamond 1. Echo.
All right, I'll pay that.
Why were you smirking about the
What do you
Korean
mean?
boot camp? You had a little smirk.
Yeah, Tim. What was it?
What are your thoughts on Korean boot camps?
Oh, no, because I'd already thought of that the Bushy Boo Boo joke in my head,
right,
and I was just like, you ever laugh over your own jokes? Because like I was like preparing myself to laugh at it.
What did you think about Bushy Boo Boo anyway? You had a really good performance up in the top lane, especially in that second
He was
game.
subbing in.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I expected to play against Artiferns this week, and then I just found I was playing against Bushy Boo Boo when I arrived here. And I think he had a good showing for someone who just was subbing in. I don't even think he plays the role.
Yep.
So good job to him.
Now, next week you'll be going up against Sin. Have you got any thoughts towards that matchup?
Juventus?
Yeah, going up against Juves again. I'm looking forward to the Twitter video that he's going to put out, to be honest. And I get to play against Predath again. I always have really good matchups against him. I think he's a good player, and I'm going to have to work really hard to beat him.
Well, congratulations again on the win, Tally, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Good stuff,
Earlier
Jim.
this week, our friend Carbon was challenged to a 1v1 against Swiper from the Chiefs. The rules were simple. The first person to get a win or take down a tower would win the match. So after we check out these highlights, we're going to see how Carbon, the ex-Legacy captain, the Oceanic International representative, stood up against the Armored Titan himself in our 1v1 competition.
Actually going in. Sorry to interrupt, Bryce, but he jumps on his head, and that will be Swiffer, overconfident and getting punished. Here's the ultimate run goes forward, gets 3 members, and that is Choo Choo's knocked back into the whole team. Spook's going to continue leaping out of the brush, and you can see he just cannot chase. And actually, it's going to be a flank coming out of multiple members. Bushy Boo Boo does get FBI.
They do lock down CD. Can they kill him down?
He got in and got it! Absolutely huge steal, and you can see now on the back end they're winning the team fight as well. Blunder from Order. They may be able to still salvage this one. Massive damage coming out of Bushy Boo Boo. Bushy Boo Boo looking to stop Swiffer's back here on the turret. Will actually get knocked back. Takes a truckload of damage and goes down. For a big ultimate out of Bushy Boo Boo actually. Gets some good damage down. Tiger flashes forward, picks up Swiffer, and now it looks like Bombers actually may win this team fight. You can see Tally goes so low, will fall down. The Nexus turret will fall down. And Order, one more time, looking to pad their stats. Get onto the Nexus. They pick up the kill and they pick up the 2-0.
So Carbon's retired. Hasn't played the game in a while. So I would say that, yeah, if I lose this, it'd be the end of my career almost.
Normally when Soupy plays top, he sort of just gets shoved in for 15 minutes and then TP's bot. In a 1v1, there's no bot lane, so be curious to see whether or not he TP's down there on accident.
In terms of the scale of this match, I would say this is almost as big as going to Worlds.
Not many people take 1v1s very seriously, but I think it's definitely the best indicator of true skill, and it's got to be worried about that.
probably more nervous than in this than versus Dials, I reckon.
You should be. Imagine losing to my Riven in Hungry Jacks nationwide.
Oh no! You ever wake up and dreamt about being a top laner instead of a jungler?
Huh?
You ever wake up and be like, wonder if I was a top laner in my career? Oh, you got some mechanics there, Timmy.
What's going on, mate? What's going on? You want this creep, mate? Come get it. What do you mean? What are you doing back there? Come get this creep.
Now we're even, mate. What's wrong? The tides have turned, mate.
Just you wait. Just you wait.
Does that thing heal you?
Huh? No, it doesn't. Oh, it'd be handy if it did.
I reckon exhaust is coming up soon.
You reckon?
Yeah.
That's a creep.
Oh. I should have picked him out, Kai.
Can't TP bot. Doesn't know what to do.
I don't like how close this is, especially when you're in 6. Oh no, he's gonna switch to teleport.
Oh, wait. Wait, what? Did you say something?
Oh no!
Am I a genius?
No!
Am I a genius?
Oh my god.
I think I might be.
Well, I did not think of this!
I think I might be the smartest man in the world.
Wait, so there's no CS rule. This is kill or first. This is kill or turret.
Kill or first turret. Yeah, good thing, because neither of us can CS. 32 at 5 minutes. Fantix, eat your heart out.
He'll be watching this. It's shame.
Yeah, he's your coach now. Brandon, you've been judged and you've been found lacking.
Oh, smooth, mate.
Oh, no.
Oh, no! Oh my god, Timmy.
What's going on, Swippy? What are you doing back there?
My heart is going off, mate.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Oh,
I'm too fast. You can't.
My mechanics just failed. There was no mechanics there. Oh no. How are you healing so much? Oh my goodness.
No!
Yes. Woo!
I was sort of mucking around earlier, saying about how much I wanted to win. Like, I'm retired. I don't really play that much anymore. But sort of halfway through the game, I was like, wait, like I think I can win. And so that made losing just a little bit worse again.
Honestly, that was a lot tougher than I expected. Coming from like a retired jungler Carbon is, I didn't think you could play something like Riven, which caught me off guard. And yeah, he had some decent all-ins. Almost had me there, but the Armor Titan never gives up. And eventually, he turns it around and gets the victory.